From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Canada Post continues to work through the backlog of mail stuck in the system during a month-long strike by thousands of postal workers. The post office says it will begin accepting commercial letters and parcels today as it works to get back to normal operations. It'll start accepting new international mail on Monday. For the record, Canada Post also says all letters to Santa will still get delivered to the North Pole by Christmas Eve. It says Santa is looking forward to reading all of them, but wants everyone to know he won't have time to respond this year. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is adjusting his late December commitments by cancelling his annual year-end interviews with news outlets. The move follows Monday's surprise resignation from Cabinet of Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. A Liberal source tells the Canadian Press the PM is reflecting with his inner circle on what to do next, amid growing calls for him to resign. Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh began the year propping up the minority Liberal government and will end it calling for Justin Trudeau's resignation.
Singh says that all options are on the table when it comes to future confidence votes, despite saying that Trudeau has to go. When it comes to these votes that could trigger an election, Singh is putting more focus on fighting the Conservatives, not the Liberals. Singh says he sees the next election as a contest between his party and the Tories, adding that people are done with the Liberals. The Conservatives have long held a 20-point lead in opinion polls, a fact not lost on Singh, who says he knows he's in for a tough fight next year. David Baxter, The Canadian Press, Ottawa.
Alberta's opposition New Democratic Party has won its first test under new leader Naheed Nenshi. The NDP will retain its long-held seat in the legislature after winning yesterday's provincial by-election in Lethbridge West. Unofficial results from Elections Alberta show NDP candidate Rob Mayashiro secured over 7,200 votes, over 1,100 more than nearest rival John Middleton Hope, who was running for the governing UCP. The timeline for opening a permanent new Ontario Science Centre appears to have been delayed, with infrastructure officials telling the Provincial Auditor General's office the centre is expected to be up and running in 2029. When Premier Doug Ford announced the planned move to Ontario Place last year, the Science Centre said the new facility at the Toronto lakefront would open in 2028. Jason Ash, co-chair of the group Save Ontario's Science Centre, says it's a shame the opening has been pushed back.
It's really a whole generation of Ontario children who are not going to have access to world-class science education that the Ontario Science Centre has provided for 55 years.
The government announced the abrupt closure of the Science Centre in June over structural concerns with the roof. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, 5 games in the NHL last night, including 3 involving Canadian teams. Mikhail Sergachev scored late in overtime to lift the Utah Hockey Club to a 3-2 victory over the Vancouver Canucks. Troy Terry scored a tie-breaking goal with 24 seconds left to help the Anaheim Ducks rally for a 3-2 victory over the NHL-leading Winnipeg Jets. And Nick Robertson scored the go-ahead goal against his older brother Jason's team as the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Dallas Stars 5-3. The other games saw Detroit beat Philadelphia 6-4, and Minnesota Wild goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury making his 1,004th career start, surpassing Patrick Waugh for third all-time as Minnesota lost 6-1 to the Florida Panthers. Toronto Scepters head coach Troy Ryan says his team needs to reevaluate amid a slow start to the Professional Women's Hockey League season. The Scepters fell 4-2 to the New York Sirens, extending their losing streak to 3 games. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.